Good morning, everyone, and welcome inside the Spotlight Omaha podcast, where we take you around the city of Omaha, introduce you to local business owners, influential figures, and people who are making an impact on our community. We are brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing. Pixel Fire Marketing is a locally owned marketing firm who specializes in website design, creating social media ads, and engaging your business online. If your business could benefit from any of that, check out pixelfiremarketing.com. Today, joining me inside the Pyramid Contractor Studio is Ryan Rourke. Ryan, thanks for being here, man.
Hey, yeah, good to be here, man.
You're with Farm Bureau Insurance. Can you kind of walk us through exactly what you do and how you're helping families?
Sure, yeah. Been with Farm Bureau Insurance. Basically, what I do is I'm looking out for local businesses and people that want to make sure that they have all of their personal needs covered. Really, I'm focusing a little bit more on commercial at the moment. Finding a lot of smaller business folks maybe don't understand their ins and outs of their insurance that they have. Like, not many people do. So myself and my team are jumping in, kind of helping to educate people a little bit more on what those contracts look like, to try to push them in the right direction. We also have a lot of really great endorsements and enhancements that go along with our programs with our commercial stuff. So it makes a lot of sense for me.
We've had a few insurance agents in here, and that seems to be the number one thing that they feel like their job is. And I don't want to speak for you, but do you feel like the number one thing that you do when you're approaching somebody to help them and help their family is educate and explain exactly what they need and why they need it?
100%. I got in the insurance game a long time ago, and unfortunately worked for a guy that was I stopped working for him because I just didn't feel like it was a good fit for me.
Throw him under the bus. Who was it? No, don't do that. I'm just kidding.
Well, I came back years later, and I wanted to walk in to a different way because I felt like that was much more salesmanship. Like, I just want to get your information and process you. I think you got to have somebody that moves with the education piece, especially with how the rates are jumping up right now in Nebraska for not only your autos but your home for sure. Education is how I lead. I think how most agents should lead. Talk to folks and don't talk to them like they're insurance aficionados, but don't talk to them like they're dumb
Sure.
either.
Yeah.
Really make things relatable. So yeah.
How difficult was that for you in the beginning to kind of put things in layman's terms versus how difficult is it for you now?
There's still times every day. Actually, I had to call the client yesterday, and I misunderstood what he said and had to call him back. I'm like, hey, my bad. You were talking about this rental. Let me get in the right plane here.
Sure. Yeah.
So at first it was a little difficult after you do your testing and you become an agent. You have all this jargon in your head, but then you don't really connect with people as well when you're really focusing on using that kind of verbiage. So for me, it got down to just being educate my folks on it. And when I talk to you, I'm going to talk to you like we're friends, we're colleagues, not like I'm some uptight guy.
What is the most misconstrued or something that people misunderstand the most about what insurance is and what it's covering?
I think what people probably misunderstand the most would be really, if I look at it on the life insurance side, that it's way too expensive to have life insurance and that you don't need it. That I have story upon stories of why you do. My father in particular, it's very, very important, not only for the business owner, for a guy like yourself, down to a single mom. Like finding something to help in those situations. I think life is that's my biggest push to try to educate people.
Father Time's undefeated.
Yeah, exactly.
Catches up to all of us. Yeah. When somebody's having that discussion, and it's happening at all different points of life, obviously. Sometimes people can't afford life insurance when they're younger. Sometimes they can. What is the similarity between having a conversation with somebody that's 23 about life insurance, somebody that's 60?
The similarity would be that we're still trying to get you protected.
Yeah.
Not only are we trying to get you protected for what we have now, but we can really create some generational wealth for your future children as you move forward as well. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of different, if you get the right product, there's cash values that you're able to use with a life insurance policy. But there's this little thing called a daily living rider that whether you're 65 or 23, it'd be a lot harder to get it when you're 65 for sure. But your daily living rider is what would really help a lot of people replace what we call long-term care. And it depends on your product. Farm Bureau has a great life product that has that. So.
Do me a favor. Can you put your microphone just a little bit closer to you by the base? There, yeah, just a little bit. There you go. Perfect.
Cool.
People are saying you're getting harder to hear as you're moving backwards.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. I just wanted to make sure we're getting your message out there.
Yeah.
When you work for a company like Farm Bureau that has as you just said, so many services to offer. What can you walk me through the process of what it looks like when you sit down with somebody and trying to understand what the best product or placement is for that person?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it's almost like you sit down with a blank canvas. I want you to paint that canvas for me. A lot of times you'll get these agents that are just turning, burning, wanting quotes, and I'll call you up. Hey, what's your VIN? What's your birthday? Give me the basic information. I'll spit you something out. What they don't do is they don't dig deep and figure out, where there could be holes in the plan that they have. Not even in their insurance plan, just the plan they have.
What does my $80,000 vehicle need more than $2,500 worth of insurance on it?
Exactly. Yeah. Huge deal.
Yeah.
Very specific with that as well. Like the average accident in Nebraska, last time I checked, was like $24K.
Wow.
So if you have state
Hospital
minimums,
bills and vehicles.
actually, that might be with the injury. I'd have to check my stats on that, but you're still right there at state minimums. So if you just have somebody rolling down the street and they clip a couple cars, you're done. You're maxed out. You're over.
Let me ask, because my wife showed me this on TikTok. You may not know the answer to this because this is something that seems to, and hopefully is a new phenomenon, isn't happening. We've seen this movement, I guess. I don't know, where people are pulling in front of vehicles, slamming on their brakes or hitting reverse or whatever. Is that something that the insurance agency world is worried about, and people like basically making false claims?
I mean, I would be. I would be for sure. Anytime. So everybody in this city probably has driven around where they've seen some idiot in front of them do something stupid.
If you've driven in the city, you've seen it.
Exactly. So I often wish I had a megaphone and be like, dude, this is why our rates are so high. Stop driving this way.
Well, that's an interesting point too, because like I mentioned, we've had a couple other agents in here talking about different things, and we've seen California and Florida stop writing insurance because of weather and things like that. How much is the life insurance / auto policy portion of insurance seeing the residual effects of stuff like that?
That's a good question. The life piece, probably not as much. Auto, though, absolutely. I have a whole presentation we did on this, and I'm sure it could be controversial, but you can trace a lot of that stuff back to COVID and what happened with the world at that time.
I was wondering about that. I didn't ask about that, but that's a great point.
Yeah. Well, you saw, 60% of your workforce go home.
Sure.
When they're working from home. So what insurance agents did, and this was the right thing, they adjusted their miles that they drove down. So it saved them a little premium. Some of those folks, they did it and they're still out there driving around.
Yeah.
What we found just aggregately out in the world, out in the wild, as I call it in Omaha, that we had more accidents and we caused more damage. I don't know if the idiots were out driving then or what, but it was actually even worse. It was inflated. So,
how long have you been doing this?
I've been doing property casualty since 21.
Okay, so we're talking about 3.5 years basically, and coming off that time. Is there anything that the insurance world saw from the pandemic that was beneficial to the insurance game that is still maybe around or being used that maybe wasn't before?
I mean, there's my company in particular. We have some more technology now than we did before. I was with a previous carrier. They had great tech, and I think that was part of it. COVID kind of pushed them to, everybody going home. You have to improve what you had. So I think in that aspect, probably. Probably saw some good tech upgrades. What do you think?
And maybe we kind of answered it with the second to last question. What do you think is the biggest hurdle facing the insurance agency world right now?
I would say it's twofold, and they're the same thing. It's pricing and education.
Yeah,
explaining why rates are high and properly educating people on the honest truth of it is things probably going down in the near future. So.
We kind of talked about this. You're obviously very much an educator first, but to some degree, there's a sales portion to what you do. How difficult is it to explain to somebody, there's a benefit to me selling this to you, but I'm trying to give you the best information possible for what you need?
That is a great question. I sat down with a guy last week. We went in and out on his policy. At the end of the day, another competitor was cheaper. I said, I think you should go with these guys. I know this company.
Difficult for you or not?
Not difficult when I'm taking care of the client.
Sure.
Because I feel like he's going to come back at some point.
Because I don't think everybody would do that.
I agree. But if you're going to be a more advantageous spot, you're fine. I'll find my money somewhere. I'm not worried about that. But two, I hope that you're going to take my suggestion and either tell a friend or come back and see me again when that time is ready.
Right.
But I just told a guy last week, hey, listen, it's you have a great opportunity to go with these guys. You're saving a little premium. Let's improve your score, like his credit score.
Yeah.
And by the time that happened, he would pop into a different funding model for us, and he would be perfect. So we're just waiting it out.
We're catching up with Ryan Rourke of Farm Bureau Financial Services here on the Spotlight Omaha podcast, brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing inside the Pyramid Contractor Studio. I want to talk about that portion of it because I think everybody that's either got Credit Karma or something on their phone gets a, hey, your insurance could be better because of your credit. Yeah. How much does, when we talk about credit scores, how much does that really affect the auto insurance portion of it?
A little bit, for sure. I don't know, like, how much it would versus something else, but the credit score is definitely a thing. Another thing people don't understand is your insurance score. Most people don't even know what that is.
Yep, I would be one of those people. What is your insurance score?
So your insurance score would be like, all right, am I paying my bill on time? Am I switching companies every couple of years? Do I have gaps in coverage? That score is represented right there. And boy, if you got a good insurance score,
sure,
especially where I'm at, we'll write you a dang good policy. Like you'd be in good shape.
Is there somewhere people could find that information, or is that pretty unique?
Not to my knowledge. No, that's something that a lot of insurance folks have. And
that app comes out probably next year sometime.
Yeah, probably.
When you have something like that that's not common knowledge, is that something you disclose pretty often to people that that's a thing, or is it such a unique situation where it's probably very rarely different from other people's that it's not something that comes up a whole lot?
You know, I'm probably more honest than I should be with a lot of folks. I tell them straight up, listen, like this is what I can do for you. And if you have, a decent credit score and a decent insurance score, I could definitely help you.
Yeah.
If you don't, then let's talk about what those look like and talk about where we can get you back. So, yes and no.
Sure, yeah, and it's obviously all situational as well. We kind of talked about this a little bit off air, but you're an Omaha native. You went to Omaha Benson. How big of a deal is it for you to be able to write policies and help people in your hometown?
Oh, it's huge. I write in 5 different states, but I'm really only active in Nebraska. I have other folks that are family across different states.
Sure. Is that why you do primarily? Okay.
That's mostly why I'm in different states. I'm not trying to get out and really go in there because I'm not physically there. But here in Omaha, yes, I want to be out on the ground. I want to help out. What I really want to do is start helping out North Omaha as much as I can. That's where I'm from.
Okay.
I love that area, born and raised there. It just feel like I can do more.
We've only known each other a little while, but I feel like we've just randomly run into people and you've just been out about in town and you're doing face-to-face meetings. How big of a deal is it for you to actually be face-to-face with a client?
I like it more because I feel like I can build that relationship better. But for most people, that's not in their head. Like, send me what you got, shoot me a text, give me a call.
Sure. And some people just don't have the time.
Yeah, and I completely get that. I want to meet you on your time.
Yeah.
So if that means we do a phone call, fine, or a Zoom, whatever. In person's the best, but I'll go with you, whatever you got.
Talk to me about growth. Is there ever the want to start your own branch? Is there? Yeah. Okay.
So right now I'm actually working at it.
Sure. Okay. And why is? Because it feels like that's just about every insurance agent is to eventually be your own partner, right? Why is that the ultimate goal?
Like when you're starting up like I am right now, I wish everything was sunshine and rainbows and easy to get to. There's you're funding your own business the whole way.
You mean everything's not sunshine and rainbows in entrepreneurship? Weird,
I know, right? Weird.
Yeah.
But no, I think that by kind of raising everything that I'm doing here, I'm hiring people and I'm kind of getting my agency all set up.
Yeah.
What it's really going to do is allow me to free up from my agency and help out in other areas. Like I want to be a little bit more philanthropic. I want to help out in town. I want to help out the Benson. I want to help out Benson High School for sure. So I think growing my agency is going to allow me to do that, but I still have to be there for it.
Why? Why do you want to go back and help your high school?
Memories, I guess. There's a lot that unfortunately in school I thought didn't give me. Or at that time, I thought my school didn't give me.
Sure.
It wasn't until college that I realized that
there was some life experiences.
100%.
Yeah.
I learned lessons there where nothing's handed out, and I need to get up and do those things. But I want to help those kids, man. I want to make it easier for them and hopefully not make the same mistakes I did.
It's weird how that topic just keeps coming up in this room. You do a ton of networking. You're wearing a hat for our friends at the Sammy Strong Foundation.
Yes, sir.
And Joe and Sarah both have liked this video so far. How has networking helped your business?
Oh, a ton. I mean, not you don't get something out of everybody as far
Sure.
as like a sale by any means, but meeting people, spreading just your kind of brand out there. Not only am I able to help other people with just contacts and put people together that weren't together before, but I really enjoy talking and getting to know somebody. I tell my kids this, and I don't know if they listen, but go find somebody that don't look like you.
Probably not.
Probably not. Go find somebody that doesn't look like you, doesn't talk like you, and go talk to them.
Yep.
Understand what they're about. Figure out what they're about. And I
Learn
really
something.
done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you know about networking before you started your own business?
That I hated it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Why?
So like everybody's got a battery, I think, and I people don't probably see that I look very extroverted, but after
Are you naturally introverted?
I feel like the older I get, I feel like I'm getting that way.
Okay.
Anymore, like I'll get done with a big event, I'm just like, oh, put me down. I'm
Yeah.
done. But,
I'm glad that's not just me.
yeah, for sure. And sometimes I'm sure you've had a day where you're like, all right, I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna put it on today, and you just try. And sometimes that's hard too. So. But I'm getting better at it. I like everybody we're meeting. It's good stuff.
I'm interested to know if this is something that's relevant to the insurance world, because I get a lot of people that ask me, how do I do a podcast? How do I start a podcast? How do I get into sports talk radio? And I don't think people understand the amount of time that go into it, because very much what you just said, a lot of times I'm like, I don't have it in me to do 4 interviews today, which I have to do today. But then I get into it and I have conversation. I naturally just enjoy talking to people, and it's almost therapeutic for me. When I think when we see the insurance agent with their name up on the sign and attached to one of the big 5 insurance bureaus, back to the sunshine and rainbows conversation, it all looks glamorous, right? Is there anything about your day to day that when you're about to do it, it's a little bit of a drain, but it almost feels refreshing when you're done?
It's really that education piece. If I'm able to help somebody understand something better, or really take a concept or something and really just help them flesh it out more, I that fills my cup a lot. And especially in the insurance world, it's confusing as it is. If I'm able to make something more transparent for me, man, that really fills my cup.
Is that the best part about what you do?
No, I think the best part about what I do is when I go to bed at night, I know my people are taken care of.
Okay. Has that always been the case in your field?
Not my field, no.
Okay.
But this is my first time being an agency owner, so I have more control over that.
Yeah.
So yeah, this go around for sure.
We're catching up with Ryan Rourke here on the Spotlight Omaha podcast, brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing. Inside the Pyramid Contractor Studios, he's with Farm Bureau Financial Services. I want to talk about you for a second. We talk about being a dad, being a huge wrestling fan, doing networking, starting your own business and growing your own agency. How do you separate everything that makes up who you are?
How do you separate it, huh?
And keep it balanced at the same time.
I was going to say, I don't think I could separate it, but balance wise, well, first I have an amazing wife that is always like, hey, this is what we're doing tonight. Remember? Oh yeah, right.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that has that problem. Okay.
Really try to keep as organized as I can. The other thing is when I'm feeling those times where I'm low and I don't want to go in and shake those hands, you have to recognize that time, and you have to go take that time for yourself. So I'll go play guitar, sit in the basement, hang out, watch videos or something that gets me back going.
Yeah,
because you kind of have to. But
you've mentioned your kids a couple times, and whether they're listening or not, how much they know about what Dad does?
They know enough. They're 15 and 16, so they understand a little bit about insurance. I have no idea past that. They know that I'm going to make them pay for half their bill.
There you go.
When that comes,
there it is.
That's about where it ends.
Sure.
And they know that I'm probably at home and floating around more than I used to. So besides that, I don't think they care as much.
Sure. Does it make it easier for you when you're writing an auto policy for somebody that does have a teenage driver to feel a little more relatable? I mean, like when they see the amount that bill comes for, that you could say, hey, listen, I'm right there with you.
Actually, I say I'm right there with you almost every time. Like, hey, man, let me tell you what happened with my kid.
Yeah.
So, but no, I actually love that. And being able to just kind of reflect against that with somebody.
If somebody does have a 14, 15-year-old and that bill's going to come due in the next 365 days, what piece of advice do you give to that person?
So make sure your son or daughter has a driving class down if you can, a safe driving class. That helps. That at least with my company, that helps save a little money. Usually within the first 3 years, though, Cha-ching, you're just
Yeah.
spending all. So.
And guess what? They're going to get in an accident.
Yep, they are.
Same question, but for somebody that's looking at buying a home. Maybe they're about to get married and they're going to get a nice gift that's going to help them do that. Or maybe they've been doing it on their own, saving up, and they're about to purchase a home for the first time. What's the best piece of advice you give to a future homeowner?
Future homeowner. Don't take the first quote you get. Take your time and look. Try to find somebody that's going to sit down with you and talk to you about your policy. We had those I think it was May. We had so really, really bad rain that actually flooded homes.
Yep.
But wasn't covered because of how the rain came down and how the water entered the home. So like, exactly, exactly, because you don't have flood insurance here in Omaha.
Yeah.
They just don't. So understanding like idiosyncrasies to policies is very important when buying your house. And a lot of times your insurance guy is just, all right, next.
How tough is that conversation? Because I think anybody that isn't in the industry or in the know goes, I've got home insurance. If my house floods, I'm covered.
Very tough.
Is that the worst part of the job?
Yeah, absolutely. The worst part of the job is giving bad news, 100%, especially stuff like that. I had to give a guy that news. It was not fun.
We've had a couple of contractors in here. Naturally, you guys are the devil to them.
Right.
When those conversations are happening, how much? And maybe you haven't had the luxury of not having to have this conversation, but how much are you working directly with the contractors and with the owner about, hey, this is covered, this isn't, this is what we have to do?
So I'm definitely working with that client and letting them know what's covered and what's not. I'll suggest a couple of contractors that I've used, but I also tell them that that's, just because I'm suggesting that this is not Ryan Rourke, this is that contractor specifically.
Sure.
But I try to help out in that relationship, especially if I have a relationship with one of the contractors. I'll do my best to help them out for sure.
Is there anything exciting or new? I mean, the insurance agency world is about as old as time, but is there anything new coming to maybe Farm Bureau that maybe people aren't aware of that they should be excited about?
Not necessarily the Farm Bureau that you should be excited about, or I would just say that the big disruption in the industry right now is the rates. Everybody's rates are through the roof. We saw so many horrific catastrophic events over this last year.
Sure.
So I think the average.
Hopefully that's going to end.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
So like the average home is like $4,000 right now for homeowners policy. If you're paying more than that, you should definitely find somebody to talk to them about it. Like, hit me up.
Sure.
I offer free insurance reviews, and not every time, like I said, that guy last week, I'm not necessarily trying to sell you. I want to make sure you're positioned in the best spot for you.
I can't believe I've been able to ask this question on this podcast 4 times now, but what is the Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling for you?
Oh, dang. Here we go. Mount Rushmore. See,
it's only 4.
Now you get me excited. All right, only 4. Macho Man's up there.
Okay.
That's my guy.
All right.
So you're going to make me feel
We've already had 4 different answers, by the way.
Oh,
just with that answer. So
awesome. Cool. All right, so Macho Man, I think as far as a guy that can rip a promo like no one's business is The Rock.
Okay.
Like, killer. Stone Cold, because he's
the greatest.
The greatest.
Yep.
Hands down. One more. The last one's always the hardest, right?
Yep. The last one's always been different too, by the way. It's like out of left field type answers. Somebody had Vince on their Mount Rushmore.
That would be interesting. That would be interesting for sure. Can I put a tag team?
Sure.
Legion of Doom.
Okay.
Warriors. Yeah.
Why'd you fall in love with professional wrestling?
Well, I mean, my brother was an amateur wrestler all through life. I did it too.
Sure.
Then we obviously watched it every Sunday, and he beat me up all the time. But then, I got into it. I loved it. I love the fiction to it, and the storytelling is so much fun. Yeah, I dig it.
We're kind of hitting that point where we tend to shut her down for the day. Is there anything about you or Farm Bureau Insurance that we haven't necessarily mentioned that people should know about?
Really, just Farm Bureau is great. All of our claims and adjusters are local, so they're all in Nebraska and Iowa.
Very cool.
Last time I worked I worked for a different carrier previously, and I couldn't speak to that because those folks, they weren't even local. They weren't even in the same country.
Sure.
And that's actually why I left, is because I wanted to stand behind my company and my claims and my adjusters. And I firmly stand behind these folks. I had a lot of different opportunities, and I chose this one. And you put your eggs with us, you're gonna be happy.
Ryan's website is scrolling across the bottom of the screen now. You can get a hold of him and his team. They'd be happy to give you a claim. You can also get a hold of him at 402-894-5763 as well. If you need an insurance claim, he would love to help you and your family out. Buddy, I appreciate you doing this. Thanks for doing this today.
Yeah, man. Appreciate the time. Thank you.
We'll be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. here on the Spotlight Omaha podcast, brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing inside the Pyramid Contractors. We'll see you in the morning.